Okay, so now we're done with the story. Time to read some secret reports. All right, Teo, you're up. Time for you to read a shit ton of text for us. So here's secret report day one for day one. Go ahead, Teo.
As is common knowledge, all games in the UG takes place under our supervision. However, this particular game is saddled with an unbelievable set of extenuating circumstances, catching the attention of the higher plane. Thus, I shall be taking a more hands-on role this time, as detailed in his report. The core differences in this game are as follows.
All right, let's see what those are then.
Everyone is crazy.
Go ahead.
1. Its role in plans for Shibuya's destruction. 2. The composer's absence from the UG. 3. The resulting limitations to his power. And 4. The game being played by a proxy. The composer has informed me of two major points. That he plans to destroy the UG, but also that his final decision will hinge on the outcome of his game with the conductor. A provisional rule for this game requires the composer to vacate the underground.
Remind me, Pedro, were these secret reports also in the original game,
Yes.
or were these also a final mix edition?
No, they were already in the DS original.
Although, if I do recall correctly, there
Kingdom
are...
T game, so
Yeah.
it is unprecedented for the composer to be absent during a game. I cannot predict what effect he may have. Furthermore, the composer must lower the frequency of his vibe to travel from the UG to the RG, inevitably curtailing his abilities. This makes investigating the conductor and his strategy incredibly difficult, as the composer is still the only one who knows who and what I am.
So who is this
I asked
person
because-
writing these reports? We'll find out eventually.
I asked my...
It means lingering in the UG to offer reports carries a little risk. The greater randomizer in the current game is the use of a hand-picked proxy to compete against the conductor in the composer's stead. No information on this person exists at present. While the situation seems dire, I believe the key to getting ahead of all of this is at hand. Not
I
literally,
asked my question because I do know for sure there are some secret reports that are exclusive
Yes,
to this version.
the new day ones. We'll get to those.
You see, time always builds upon the past. I have already located our key. It is a PIN request from the conductor. Normally, the psych manifestation of pins are determined by one's imagination. Thus, by analyzing the pin, the user's imagination, or rather, their true intentions, are revealed. Unfortunately, this order came through the composer and never came into contact with the conductor. Thus, I could not use it to determine the nature of his imagination.
We're going to explain later what exactly this game means by imagination. Go ahead.
I, too, have lowered my vibe to tune into the UG, limiting my abilities. However, at this stage, realizing that this pin holds the key sufficient, possibility of forestalling the plans for the UG destruction remains.
So this report is report 1, which applies to day 1 of week 1. So each day has its own report. So let's read the report for day 2 of week 1 now. Go on, Teo.
Don't kill me.
As soon as it shows. Go ahead.
As the game was set to end, I felt an intense burst of soul, and at its source, I found the composer's hand-picked proxy, one Neku Sakuraba. Let it be noted that once danger was past, the soul as he expelled rapidly tapered off. I shall define soul as it exists in the UG later. For now, let it suffice to say it is the energy he bears within him.
Basically, his
So
key
he
his
knew
key
all
energy,
along.
his force, if you want a Star Wars term, basically.
Also, yeah, Hanekoma knew all along who Neku was in that regard.
Basically.
That's why he was being
Obviously.
particularly helpful.
Go ahead, Teo.
His unstable soul is the result of a rift between his body and emotional mind. This discord can be traced to a few causes. 1. His dense and all-inclusive soul composition. 2. Emotional confusion inhibiting the unity of his emotional self and physical body. And 3. The exacerbation of that confusion by memory loss due to his entropy. However, anyone possessing such diverse soul can become a formidable leader of imagination. The composer was right to choose this boy.
So Neku is literally the chosen one by the composer.
Chosen by Jesus himself.
I mean, it is a Kingdom T game after all.
Alright, next.
Shibuya's fate may rest on how well he manages to stabilize his soul. To measure his stability, I gave him a harmonizer pin. It can only be used when he cooperates with his partner. Synchronizing with another hinges on his ability to first stabilize his own soul. Thus, successful use of a pin would indicate he has made progress on that front.
You know, remember who gave us that harmonizer pin? Hanekoma. So Hanekoma is the one writing these reports. Okay, then. Hopefully these reports will give us some insight into who he is exactly. So
imagine reading these reports while you're playing the game.
Go
The
ahead.
further he is able to push his and his partner's psych resonance through fusion, the greater his own internal stability will have become. The progress of his soul merits close observation henceforth.
Because if you're reading these reports while playing the game, you pretty much know, wait a minute, the person
Well,
who
keep
did
in
all
mind-
this had to be...
Well, keep in mind, Joe, but we have to clear all those tasks that you see in the bottom ground. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Allow me to redefine the composer's role. As I continue to observe the game's progress, I have a clear view of the enormous effect of the composer's absence. A clear definition of his duties are key to understanding the extent of his disruption. The composer holds absolute authority over the underground. By quote-unquote authority, I mean the right to determine rules. He is the only one who can change the composition of UG and sole creator of Shibuya.
He's literally God.
I mean, yeah.
Comes with the territory.
Okay, then. But yeah, basically, Joe, you have to complete all those 4 tasks with the stars that you see there. So it's not like you can accidentally get these reports. You have to go out of your way. You have to know what you're doing, basically. Go ahead.
I don't
imagine...
Yeah, the underground Shibuya is created and organized by the composer's rule, which pit players against Reapers in a struggle for survival. A new composer only arises when the previous one is defeated. The victor takes the victim's place. At this juncture, the new composer rewrites the rules of UG Shibuya.
Imagine if Minamoto actually managed to take down Joshua and become the new composer, what new rules he would impose.
This is why I have wondered if Joshua was telling the truth when he said if Neko won, he'd let him become the composer.
However, there being no composer at all is a different situation. It means the rules that make up the UG are invalid. In other words, without a composer, the underground collapses. However, the composer's absence is still a secret. At present, only 3 people know. The composer himself, his opponent, the conductor, and the producer, me.
So Hanekoma is the producer of the Reapers game. So yeah.
Musical terms.
Yeah.
He's like the guy from UK Watch who just flashes
So basically,
the
he's secretly Joshua's assistant, sort of, kind of.
The producer's role is that of a guardian over the game. For observation purposes, he must sometimes descend from a higher plane to the underground. While the producer is natively an entity from the higher plane, he can adjust the frequency of his body to visit UG and lower planes. Think of a radio. Going from station A to station UG simply requires tuning into a different frequency. The producer has the power to contact any and all beings in the underground.
So basically,
Hanekoma is a living sound wave.
It's kind of the same rules that the Flash uses for jumping different dimensions, I guess.
Yeah, so basically Hanekoma is the rules enforcer of sorts. Go on, Jova.
Hence why he was able to pretty much tell Azuki and Karia to cut it out with Neku that one time.
However, he's strictly prohibited from revealing his identity in the UG. His existence endangers the stability of the rules and balance of UG and RG. Thus, the producer's identity must stay a secret from Reapers and players, not to mention those in the RG. You may freely contact only one person as the producer, and as is the composer.
So yeah, Josh was the only one who knows.
Joshua were in touch.
Kind of a lonely job.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, Josh was the only one who knows who Hanekoma is. So.
And also, notice this. The lack of a composer meant that stuff was thrown into whack. What does that sort of stuff mean?
Go ahead.
Well, people who were...
The UG exists as a separate plane where the composer can judge the worth of man. Within it are Reapers and human players. It is infeasible for the composer to judge all of humanity by himself, so a filtering system utilizing the Reapers was created, the Reapers game. Reapers act as a test, weeding out unfit players. Upon becoming a Reaper, one's physical body changes, gaining incredible strength and extended lifespan.
So basically, yeah.
Wings.
So yeah, Joshua is literally judging the worth of who's worthy of staying alive. With this game.
Sometimes legit nice people are also erased when the Reapers decide to play nasty.
As Reaper and player alike progress through the game, engaging in imagination-driven combat, their soul is refined. Soul is abstract matter revealed through our research into life and death, and a component in the makeup of the atmosphere, humans' will, for all phenomena. As Reapers execute the game, they undergo a process of evolution, from grunts to officers to the composer.
So yeah, it is possible
Pedro,
to...
while we have a quiet moment, what's the name of this tune? This is the one I was thinking of.
Forebode.
Like Infinite's name.
Forebode.
Forebode?
Yes.
However, Reapers that follow the ideal route are rare, and most are erased by players. Reaper player, those erased within the game, disperse in the mind and spirit housed within their flesh in the form of soul. Thus, they are erased only from visible existence. Their soul persists in the UG until gathered and tied together according to a new code. This new code is, essentially, imagination. Even sufficient imagination, any form is possible, be it a pin or a Reaper.
So yeah, think of it. It's all about basically imagination and soul. Those are the primary sources of energy. Go ahead.
Variations in this code cause the soul to manifest in different forms. In other words, humans, Reapers, and Noise are all entities formed of soul. The only difference is their code. And what are Noise? Entities without conscious will, only to drive to multiply. Thus, they constantly thirst for soul, attacking players and possessing humans in the real ground.
Heartless.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, yeah, Kingdom Hearts team, heartless. Like, heartless down to a T.
Yeah, I mean, Kondo is definitely a Nomura's pupil in every form of the word. Go ahead.
Soul consumed by noise is destroyed, even if the noise is erased. Thus, possessed humans often exhibit a rush of euphoria immediately after the noise is removed. Though untested, the same will likely hold where a player or Reaper possessed.
I'm surprised that wasn't one of the earlier reports, since the first port literally right out of the gate reveals that all is not as you think it is, dear player.
The real ground and underground are planes of existence. Other planes exist as well, the one inhabited solely by noise, for example, or our customary plane. The planes are stacked in parallel, though each exists at a different frequency vibe in tune with its inhabitants. Observing a lower plane from a higher plane is simple. Actual transplanar contact, while possible, is highly complex. The vibes of adjacent planes are closer, making passage between them comparatively easier. We're doing quantum mechanics, so hold on tight.
Yes, quantum mechanics. For quantum mechanics for dummies.
Not even that. The lingo used is relatively, at least medium level.
Well, it's Hanekoma. He's a very intelligent person, so it is in character.
No, I don't mean that. I mean for people to understand it. As in,
go ahead.
More distant planes show greater differences in vibe frequencies, and thus communion becomes more difficult. The UG exists just above the RG, allowing those in the UG to observe the RG, but not vice versa. Noise exists on a special plane that straddles both the RG and UG, enable their interference in the affairs of both. When players come into contact with noise, they are drawn into noise plane.
So that's why we always get into a different place when we fight the noise. We go into the noise plane, their plane of existence. Basically, an in-universe explanation for why we go into a different battle area when we fight, basically.
In other words, players are forcibly tuned in to the noise plane. Conversely, there exists an even higher plane than the RG and UG. That is where I am from, the plane of the angels. As in the RG and UG, angels have created a web of social schema to guide their activities. The lore producer is just one cog in the angel machine.
So that's why he had wings in that after credits scene. He's literally an angel.
But feathery wings, not the ones of a Reaper.
Yep.
You see? Angel vibes are extremely high frequency. Not even the composer can catch them all. In actuality, he can pick up only that of the producer. As you can see, interplanar contact is beset by difficulty, but certain modes do exist for its realization. One is the modular decal. Within its area of effect, players from the UG can manifest visibly in the RG and communicate with others there.
I love how there's a whole entire layer of lore literally put behind these secret reports.
Well, that's what
This is not different than the answer reports.
Yeah, this is what they usually do.
Bro.
Reapers and the composer can down-tune their vibes at will. Near these decals, however, even their vibes will forcibly adjust to the lower frequency. Another mode, imprinting, requires no physical manifestation in the RG. Imprintees experience the conferred thoughts as bursts of inspiration. The reliability of his communiques thus depends upon the person receiving it.
So this explains why the Reaper decals allow us to enter into the stores, because the frequency is changed when we do.
For example, successful communication with preoccupied people is unlikely. Furthermore, recipient interpretation of said inspiration, quote-unquote, colors the message, making printing unreliable at best. Reaper Creeper was created as a mode of popular communication between the planes. Moderating pair logos printed on paper allow for limited UG interaction with real ground objects. As those in the RG are unaware of players, they perceive the illusion of a coin moving by itself.
And there you go, that's how Reaper Creeper works in the 12 universe.
I love it. It reminds me of the Whitest Kids You Know skit where girls doing that weird move around the board thing is actually just community service for demons.
So the Luigi board.
Basically, yeah. Alright, day 6.
But yeah, I do want to point out, you may have noticed in an earlier bout they said that with the composer not there, that means stuff out of whack, which kind of hints that, well, those who are supposed to come back to life couldn't come back.
I receive periodic communication from the composer while we maintain contact. I'm permitted from providing me the information for his clone boss in the game. I'm permitted only to respond for his commissions for certain items, and even then I'm able to only to create and deliver said items. The composer requested increased phone functionality for use in the next game.
You might remember that as that moment where... Yeah, you might remember that's exactly what he was asking Hanekoma for. So, yeah. So basically, this is literally what Hanekoma has been doing behind the scenes during the game. Go ahead, Shiro.
Today, the proxy's partner, one Shiki Misaki, freed herself from her defining value, envy. With this, the composer is convinced of the proxy's victory on the 7th day. His confidence arises because the proxy's intervention was indispensable in causing his partner's growth. It signals the proxy's departure from his obsessive self-actualization loop. Previously, even the composer was unsure of his proxy's capacity for growth.
Of course.
Little did he know what was going to occur.
Mm-hmm. I picked this antisocial jerk. Surely this guy is the perfect example.
What could possibly go wrong?
This guy is the perfect example. This guy is the perfect example of why Shibuya sucks. Go ahead, too.
Normally, the composer possesses a certain degree of clairvoyant foresight. His current down-tuned state, however, limits his abilities, clouding this super-temporal vision. Though able to observe the UG from the real ground, he is otherwise saddled with limitations. For one, his outward appearance. He looks younger than he would at full life frequency within the UG. Fortunately, this prevents the Reapers from recognizing him as the composer. Again, a thing that I theorized.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his face looks similar, but admittedly that's often obscured by light.
To begin with, the composer contacts Reapers only through the conductor, so most are unaware of what he looks like. Additionally, he has the being in the underground with the highest vibe, so lesser Reapers are incapable of perceiving him. The effects of down-tuning occur because the composer's vibe and the RG's frequency are substantially different.
How much do you think Ozuki would freak out if she knew that she was at some point bad-mouthing the composer?
Remember how much she wants a promotion, so yeah.
Yeah, yelling at your boss kind of blocks that off.
Go ahead, Teo.
Sorry. For Reapers, the down-tuning necessary to exist in the RG is significantly less and thus affects the prominent changes. That said, it depends on the Reaper. At any rate, the effect is minimal, making Reapers much more frequent visitors to the real ground. Provided they complete their duties, Reapers may do as they wish in the RG within certain accepted boundaries.
Yeah.
Alright, so going back to what I was talking about earlier, with the composer not around, arguably nobody could be brought back to life.
Yep.
Which brings the question, why was Shiki where she was when we found her, and why was she kept from being alive? Probably Megumi's way of trying to not let people in on the fact that, yeah, we actually can't bring you back to life because our boss ain't around.
Yeah.
As the composer predicted, the proxy has won the game. So what happens to those who survive the week? Those whose imagination is less than outstanding are broken down into soul, while those with excellent imagination become Reapers. The most talented of these may travel to the next plane inhabited by us angels. Legend Reapers too may pass through the office of composers to ascend to the plane of angels. So technically speaking, the prize was never come back to life, more like going to paradise. I guess what Joshua did at the very end was just a favor.
Yeah.
No. The prize usually is supposed to be you get brought back to life, but they just see it that way as paradise, I believe.
Yeah, that and like Jova said, they need Joshua. Joshua's the only one who can actually give them that reward. So yeah, go on.
Now, what if? This may sound odd, but one may also choose to be reincarnated.
There you go.
Well, the word reincarnation is not quite accurate, for the humans of UG are not truly dead. They merely possess different soul code and have been tuned to a different plane. We angels do not consider it a loss if a talented player likes to return to real ground, as their superior imagination will inspire other humans.
So the idea, I believe, is that the bodies technically aren't dead, but to the real world they appear to be dead.
And it's
until
okay
you win
if
the
you're
game.
doing it because by process of elimination, it means the ones who come back are stronger. Upon returning to life, the exceptional player's creative activities soon make their mark upon society. His art, music, and other output become a part of culture, spreading and persisting through time, refining people's imaginations, even without their personal contact with the player. Certainly, this requires time, but no one has ever accused angels of being in a hurry. The composer's absence during this particular game, however, means that reincarnation is not an option.
There you go.
So, you're telling me that people like Mozart and Van Gogh participated in the game or some shit like that?
No, they were inspired by the players.
Tio. They lost because they didn't have the will to live.
Oh my god.
No,
Yes, you gotta have a strong will
I
to
get
win
what
this
you
game.
mean, Pedro, don't worry. Only the composer possesses the level of imagination necessary to reincarnate. It is beyond the conductor's means. The conductor continues to act as if the composer were present, but this farce can only continue for so long. I will be watching with great curiosity to see how the conductor responds once his rules unravels. As I was busy writing reports, the boy in my custody, Beat, went missing. Fuck.
So yeah, at this point we are in, remember, day 7 of week 1. So that's when it
Their
happened. Yeah.
beat ran off.
Beat had expressed curiosity now noise was created. Perhaps he plans to ask a Reaper, but even without specific instructions for them, he has the ability now. I gave him a pill filled with a special imagination required to create noise, and imprinted him with instruction for its use. This does not qualify as interference in the game because I say so. Shut up.
Loopholes! I mean, granted, he's the rule keeper, so I guess he could overlook that. It's all fair, I'm sure.
The information I gave him will have no impact on the game's result. It was merely a token of my esteem for his unflinching passion towards what he holds dear. Whenever he uses this power and how, he's completely up to him.
I do like how Hanekoma is generally.
Had to become a Reaper to use that power. He had it all along thanks to Hanekoma.
I do like how Hanekoma has a genuine desire to protect these kids.
Okay, week 2 now.
Week
As
2.
predicted by the composer, his proxies enter the game a second time. The proxy has proven his aptitude and will be joined in the next game by the composer himself as his new partner.
Oh yeah.
There are 3 reasons behind the composer's choice of actions. 1, to ascertain the conductor's strategy. 2, to educate his proxy. And 3, to protect him.
There you go. Exactly.
I gotta say, they must have been very confident that no one would be stubborn enough to try and get the secret reports while playing.
So Joshua was actually protecting Neku from Megumi all along.
While educating him, like I said.
Yeah.
With his return to the UG, the limits of the composer's abilities will be relaxed. However, using his abilities could reveal his identity. As such, he will need to continue to limit
Which is why he refused to use his ability, like we saw. Go ahead.
This presents a certain side of risk. The greater risk, however, lies with the composer joining the proxy for
It is a big risk, yeah. Go ahead.
The composer's presence, his tremendously high vibe, will place a great deal of physical and psychological strain on the proxy.
That's putting it mildly.
Furthermore, the proxy's victory in the previous game has won him back his memory. The self-actualization loop binding the proxy is thus stronger than ever, more deeply ensconced when the envy cleared from Shiki in the previous game. This is also why every time Sho showed up, Neku got the migraine.
Exactly.
And this is part of why
programmer.
And this is part of why Joshua wasn't telling Neku crap, essentially.
He literally couldn't go on.
There is a possibility of the proxy's soul destabilizing, negating its progress during the previous game. Slight problems also persist within the proxy personality. How long will the proxy be able to bear being side by side with the composer?
Must resist shooting asshole in face.
Alright, day 2 of week 2.
Yeah, that's a thing. Joshua was testing Neku's patience.
Today, an alert was handled down. The discovery of a fallen angel. Fallen Angel is one who has broken the Angel's code, a criminal. Their crime, revealing the secrets of Taboo Noise Refinery to the game master, Minamimoto.
And that's how you know. Go ahead.
Minamimoto knows the composer's RG identity, secret even to the conductor, and has chased him to the real ground. The Fallen Angel may also have supplied him with his information, but who did it actually? We don't know that.
Oh, the Fallen Angel? No, we never find out who the Fallen Angel is. We get told it's a Fallen Angel who's a criminal and decided to rebel. That's all we're told.
Okay.
Basically, one of God's lackeys.
Minamimoto last to take the composer's place, and his potential to do so comes second only to that of the conductor. Despite being a complete outsider in the wager between composer and conductor, this tends to hinder the composer greatly. It is entirely possible Minamimoto may rise to the office of conductor before this wager has been decided. All eyes from the higher plane are on this game for the future of Shibuya. Should its result be invalidated by outside interference, the Angel's disappointment will be vast.
So basically, Sho was trying to impress the boss double upstairs, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
And for all his troubles, crushed by a vending machine.
What is the Fallen Angel's goal? Dominion over the underground? Retribution against the Angels? They're the case, we must carefully monitor Minamimoto's action and stay vigilant against this Fallen Angel. Maybe a master of masters of some kind.
God damn it, Lucifer, quit rebelling against your dad.
Alright, day 3 of week 2.
I was finally able to hand over the phone tracking application the composer requested some time back. And for the composer it was ready 3 days ago, but they apparently had no time to come pick it up. It just shows how carefully the proxy is planning each move. The application detects the conductor's imagination. With it, one can walk around Shibuya and piece together the conductor's
So there you go, Joshua was looking for Megumi. And
also, yes, the careful planning of the proxy. We all remember Neku's ever so crapful plan of crap, get to this point, get to this point, get to this point, ignore whatever Josh is saying. It was all careful planning.
This also explains why the tracker was reacting to Megumi's pins. The Red Skull pins.
Probably something done by Megumi to offset being able to be tracked. At this point, even I cannot fathom the conductor's plan. I'd have to rely on the information gathered by the composer. While I wait for his findings, I will work on the composer's next order, a second revision to the phone's functionality. Today also marked my first contact with the proxy since he formed a pact with the composer. He appears considerably wary of his partner at the present time.
Well, gee!
I can't imagine what would cause this.
Okay, I will say this. For all of Josh's clever planning, acting like an asshole to your proxy was probably not the wisest
As expected, the psychological strain is severe. So severe, in fact, that most players will be unable to continue. Right now, the only thing keeping the proxy in the game is his entry fee. At least his dangerously strained state of mind is acting to heighten his soul. I saw no sign of relapse or destabilization. Rather, the return of his memory seems to have yielded only positives.
Never mind the trauma it brought him, but hey, only positives.
Think about this passage for the fun thoughts. I look forward to watching the proxy's continued growth. Why couldn't this be in the page 3? Just asking.
That is a good question. I guess, if I recall correctly, maybe it's... No, actually, no, that really doesn't make sense.
I don't get it.
Paragraph spacing, saves codes and everything.
Alright, day 4 of week 2.
The composer's reports indicate rough going in his investigation. I suspect the limits upon his abilities. Meanwhile, Minamimoto has not issued any missions. The Reaper elites must be alarmed as well. Perhaps this is more of a Fallen Angel's influence. As I've stated, Minamimoto is suspected of a liaison with a Fallen Angel.
It was an inside job.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the Constantine movie. There's also a Fallen Angel. Go ahead.
The Fallen Angel may have chosen Minamimoto for a few reasons. First, none desired the composer's office more. Minamimoto's obsession was great enough to compel him to pursue the composer into the real ground. Unlike simple Reapers, however, the composer's powers are not lost in the RG. I can just imagine the shock dawning with Minamimoto's face as I write this.
You thought you could kill him in the RG? Well, think again, Sho.
Yep. And that's what led to the encounter we see involving Neku's death.
Yes, the composer must down-tune to the frequency of aerial ground, limiting his powers. However, Minamoto is in the same boat. As a result, the difference in variabilities remain unchanged, as the assassination attempt failed. While Minamoto's efforts were fruitless, they serve as ample proof of his convictions. The second reason for the Fallen Angel may have targeted him is his lack of loyalty to the Reaper's organization and his preference for solo action.
Makes sense.
But, Sho, don't you know prime numbers never win?
You're all a bunch of integers.
Not to mention, Jova, to be fair, number 1 is a prime number. His distaste for cooperation meant little chance of him revealing the Fallen Angel's presence.
Yep.
The reason is his consistently unconventional aesthetic. His bizarre actions regularly cause confusion among those around him. Even if the Fallen Angel were to urge him to do something out of the ordinary, that would be ordinary for him. No one will suspect a thing.
Yeah, it is a good plan.
Also-
I'll give it that.
Also, yes, 1 is a prime number, but it's also the loneliest number.
Of course. But yeah, no,
Point of view.
to the Fallen Angel's credit, yeah, that is a good plan.
This is why he's an ideal target for a Fallen Angel to work his agenda without raising suspicion. At least it seems a logical conclusion. The question now is, why has Minamoto abandoned the game and what is he doing? I suspect that his only current objective is to take out the composer. If so, he's likely preparing for the 7th day and his opportunity to confront the players.
Which explains why he
Yeah,
wasn't
but
give a shit
Megumi
about
had
giving
other
missions.
plans.
Yep. This explains why he wasn't giving out missions. He was concerned with the refinery
I
sigil.
actually thought that it was Joshua interfering, actually. Just what did the Fallen Angel tell Minamoto? Perhaps no one will ever know, knowing Smile.
Theorizing.
I've always taken it to heart. I mean, that Megumi assigned Sho knowing what Sho was up to in that regard, seeing as how he had a whole game going on this stuff. So it was his plan from all along that Sho would either take out Neku along with him, or
Got
at
it,
the very
Taro.
least take Josh out of the game.
The proxy feels an affection for the art of the designer Cat, myself. As it was picked by the composer, this is hardly coincidence, it was an inevitability. Cat's creative works are embedded with command codes. His art acts as a medium for mass imprinting.
So-
Jesus.
there
So
you
yeah,
go, Neku.
so yeah,
Your
Cat
love
and
for Cat was imprinted.
Your
Yeah.
favorite influencer, kids? They're brainwashing you, actually.
I mean,
No, it's a lie!
where's the lie exactly in that?
God damn it. He's right.
Imprinting players use work only for on an individual basis. However, through art, one can affect anyone who comes into contact with the work. I imbue my art with 2 command codes. The first is enjoy the moment more.
Exactly.
This strengthens the imagination. The proxy received the signal loud and clear, though past trauma precluded him from responding accordingly.
So does this mean to you that VTubers are just
Oh, and Java, I
extra
mentioned past
steps?
trauma. Past trauma precluded Neku from properly adhering to Hanekoma's moral of enjoying the moment more. So keep that in mind for later when we get to another day.
VTubers are industry plants, Jova.
Also, Jova, any YouTuber when you get down to it.
Yeah, but VTubers are like taking it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, Hanekoma knows something about Neku that we haven't learned yet, so keep that in mind.
I mean, there must have been a reason for his antisocial behavior until the point.
He's Batman.
The second code, Gather, calls to those with strong imaginations, hence the inevitability. Why wouldn't the composer find these worthy proxies standing in front of Micro City?
Exactly.
A single reason exists for rigging my art in this way. The creation of the future requires imagination.
So Hanekoma is literally inspiring imagination in people, thus helping the evolution of mankind's art, culture, and all that stuff, basically. And that's why. So there you go, everybody. Your favorite artist, he could secretly be someone as part of the Reaper's game who's nurturing your imagination. Go on.
My art is widely accepted in Shibuya. This proves that those with imagination sufficient to create the future are gathering in the area. Shibuya's future is looking very bright.
Only people who like my art are worth a shit.
You know, it's not from the fact that God wants to wipe
I'm
out
gonna
Shibuya.
refrain making a joke, but just know that it involves Kurt Cobain. I finished revision 2 of the phone tracking app, which allows it to detect the Shibuya River. The composer aims to use this device to convey the river's location to the proxy.
Exactly.
Before passing that knowledge along, the composer needed to understand the conductor's plan. As of yesterday, he felt confident in his hypothesis.
Teo noticed this even before we read this report.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Neku was just focused on winning back Shiki.
Yeah,
So
that Joshua was secretly trying to nudge Neku in the right direction, actually. Go on.
The composer had encountered red skull pins everywhere the detector had led, the same pins I created at the conductor's behest on the first day. It is suspected they form a prime piece of his strategy. The imagination he has filled those pins with is the same as that in the player pin, imprinting. They are set apart, however, by a single major difference.
Making everybody think alike.
Also, for the record, because we haven't talked about it, the anime has the whole Red Skull brainwashing people in episode 2.
Yeah.
And again, I was completely caught off guard because I don't know what's going on.
Go
The
ahead.
Red Skull pins are made to imprint targets with the conductor's will. Anyone wearing the Red Skull pin is dominated by the conductor's mind. The further the pins spread, the more people he controls. However, the Red Skull pins have penetrated less than half of Shibuya's real ground population in the last 2 weeks. At this rate, the conductor's strategy will end in failure.
About that.
Silly Megumi, you never could have won.
Although, the ironic thing is he came pretty close because there was something even Hanekoma didn't see coming, if you'll recall from how week 2 ends. You know,
How does he intend to penetrate the rest of Shibuya? I will be monitoring his action closely.
knowing that Megumi was, for that time, both the conductor and the composer, whenever he told Kenichi, alright, I'll check with the composer, do you think he went, alright, Megumi, I have this plan that's
Go ahead.
The
very
final
well...
day's mission came from the conductor, eliminate Minamimoto. Unexpected as it was, tension ran high, but the composer's quick thinking saved the day. In the end, all went according to his plan, and he successfully guided the proxy onto the next game. The solution entailed first defeating Minamimoto, thereby ensuring the proxy's victory. Secondly, the composer pretended to be erased by the Inainotos while shielding the proxy.
Exactly. It perfectly worked, everything exactly like how Joshua intended.
Well, not the very end, because Neku won it.
True,
Well,
yes.
we'll get to that when we read the final
To
report.
accomplish this, he fled to a parallel world just before Minamimoto's final attack connected. The proxy survived the game alone, but was again unable to elect reincarnation due to the composer's illegal participation in the game. For better or worse, the games between the composer and the conductor concludes in 1 week's time.
Notice that first sentence. To accomplish it, he fled to a parallel world. So when Minamoto supposedly killed Joshua, he fled to a parallel world. Keep that in mind from when we get back to the game itself.
I can imagine before the release of Another Day, people thought it was Kingdom Hearts 3D.
That's the thing, Teo. You can theorize that Kingdom Hearts 3D is actually a parallel world version of those characters.
The conductor strategy may end in failure, but we will see. I need to keep a close eye on his future actions. All I can do is wait for the composer to inform me of which parallel world he escaped to.
Yeah, basically, everybody, in Kingdom Hearts 3D, the characters don't exactly act like a specific way that's specific, but you can theorize with this lore that it's an alternate plane version of them, basically, thanks to this lore. Okay,
Alright, third week.
Pete, day one, go ahead.
I began patrolling Shibuya in pursuit of the conductor strategy. While in Udagawa, I spotted Minamimoto's taboo noise refinery sigil.
Exactly.
Several types of this sigil exist in various categories, which we of the higher plane have classified. Not all of them, however, will work in the UG. Its fine frequency is simply too low for them to translate properly.
And now you know why Hanekoma was investigating that mark that Shaw left.
Exactly.
All coming together.
Exactly. As you can see, Hanekoma is a very busy man.
I'll say. He had all this time to write all that stuff.
And also handle an actual job at the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to wonder if secretly, deep down, he loved the thrill of it all, or
Right.
he felt just overworked.
The sigil Minamimoto drew was one of these undecodable types. Was that a mistake of a fallen angel's part? Or was it a transcription error by Minamimoto? Either way, with that design he stands little chance of reviving himself. However, Minamoto is driven and his imagination strong, perhaps strong enough to make a taboo sigil work, even in the underground. If so, the specific result will be impossible to predict.
Oh, yes. Indeed.
And who could predict Mr. Minamoto?
Well, like the previous report said, he's literally unconventional in his behavior, and so that's why the
He
following.
literally finds a microphone in a telephone booth and just decides to yoink that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that might interfere with the composer and conductor's wager is to be avoided at any cost. I will personally neutralize Minamoto's sigil. Angels may not interfere in the Reaper's game, but this contest will decide Shibuya's future. The higher playing cannot idly stand by. Meanwhile, the conductor is dealt a preemptive blow. The starting player count in this final game is 1.
Yeah, Megumi was not fooling around by that point.
Yeah.
Since
So the whole
this
thing.
last
So this implies that the whole idea of Neku being the only player in week 3 was actually Megumi's idea, and he told Konichi to do it.
Which does lead me to wonder.
I cannot be certain whether the conductor knows that Neku Sakuraba is the proxy, but this severe restriction in the number of entrants ensures players erasure. In this flagrant abuse of his privilege, he has eliminated the threat of the proxy. With the composer in a parallel world, the proxy's position is perilous. Still, as producer, I am bound by the rules. I can offer him no help.
So yeah, Joshua's plans were legit in danger at that point. This was
Yep.
not part of Joshua's plan, and Josh wasn't even around to interfere. So beat saving Neku was legit the grace of God and luck for Neku.
Yeah. Basically. So yeah, go ahead.
All I can do is guide him to the Shibuya River. Call it luck or fate, even by himself, the proxy has managed to form a pact. His partner to beat, now Reaper, who is himself fixated on reaching the river. As such, guiding the proxy will require little work on my part. Still, I haven't uncovered the conductor's strategy for this final week. I can't afford to relax quite yet.
And that's why he was sort of tinkering with that stuff in his cafe.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like to imagine Megumi going to himself, so, Mr. Composer, I have an idea.
On an actual mirror. I will tell more eventually later, Joa, because there's a Disney comic that kind of does that.
Coolio.
Alright, day
But I
2 of
imagine
week 3.
Look, I have an idea. It might piss off Konishi. Oh, it pisses off Konishi? Well, go right ahead. Thank you,
The conductor has used Beat's betrayal as an excuse to issue an emergency call. With it, the composer's rule for the UG are essentially suspended. After weeks of conceding the composer's absence, the conductor finally has absolute authority. At the same time, he has made red skull pins mandatory for all Reapers.
You know, you have to wonder, do Reapers always put their lives on the line when a player makes it to the final week, or are they usually not supposed to die?
Well,
when
there's the
game
freedom
ends?
promotion. Now, most of Shibuya has a red skull pin. The stage has been set for the conductor's counterattack. Furthermore, he's cordoned off each area of UG with walls. I could leave the UG, elevate my vibe and pass through them quite easily, but to what end? I am bound to the UG and thus my hands are tied.
Yeah, Hanekoma genuinely wanted to help Neku, but again, his hands are tied. He has to abide by the rules.
Megumi really was pulling out all the stops that last week.
I remember it was a plan a couple of weeks in the making. Remember, the entire mission about helping getting the pins popular. I cannot reach the composer, nor do I know in which parallel world he's hiding. For now, all I can do is use my second sight to watch the game's progress.
That is true. Remember, in the first week, one of our missions was to make that cat pin popular.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have a second sight because fuck you.
Well, he's an angel. I can buy that. Go ahead.
Rather than head to the Shibuya River, the proxy has begun wandering the streets, apparently in pursuit of a game master. Konishi, this round's game master, seems mainly interested in saving her own skin. She appears a loyal follower to a conductor, but the appearance of a promising candidate for composer will quickly change her tune. At this point, she has been working hard to recover the conductor's trust after her sleep the first day.
Yeah, Megumi was like, oh, you failed? Well, then I might just have to consider a different second-in-command. Starscream, I mean Konishi.
She has issued a single 6-day mission, one that exploits Beat's greatest weakness, rhyme. Her plan is to panic the pair into committing some fatal error while keeping watch from her front row seat within Beat's shadow. This serves both to restore her standing with the conductor and to avenge the blow to her pride.
So arguably she could have won if she just stayed and beat Shadow all along when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, when Sho also showed
Beat's
up...
greatest desire is to bring her back to life. Even if revived though, Rhyme still lost the game. Her entry fee is non-refundable. I do not know what the girl's entry fee was, but life without it, the thing she held most dear, would be filled with grief and hardship. But is the void in one's heart caused by loss never filled?
Well, she can potentially find a new thing she holds dear.
I'm guessing we don't really know, actually, if in the ending, when she's also revived, if she actually has back also her entity or not.
Thanks to the sequel to it, we know that she's turned her life around, and she managed to be happy now without her entry fee.
Okay, I think it can be. It may take time, but something else still comes along to fill that empty space, so long as one enjoys the present. In other words, we needn't mourn the loss of that which we hold dear. If only more people realized this.
Yeah.
The composer did not impose the entry fee upon players to cause them anguish.
I don't know this. We didn't mourn the loss of what we hold dear. Basically, something else will come along to fill that empty space, so as long as one enjoys the present. So this is something that both Joshua and Hanekoma want people to know this. And that's one of the big reasons why he has.
Again, this is supposed to be a game at the end of the day. So I get the idea. Maybe in its conception, it was actually conceived to be, a fun experience.
Go on.
In experiencing life without the thing one most values, players are forced to re-examine just how crucial those things really are. The hope is that by the close of the game, players will be able to take a hard look at themselves and be able to take on the future with a new outlook on life. The entry fee exists to force players to see the truth about themselves. It is a test posed by the composer to spur players' self-enlightenment.
Exactly, meaning it's kind of like the moral of Monsters University. Even if you lose your dream, that's not the end of the world. You can find a new dream, basically.
And then we have Samurai Jack Season 5.
Oh, we will get to that sometime. Just know, audience, yes, we will also be covering Battle Across Time to get the...
I think the problem is not even something like that, but that's a topic for
that
another
is true.
time.
There are a few issues with Season 5.
The
My biggest
conductor
one is that...
has begun his work with the Red Skull Pins. By bringing Shibuya's collective consciousness in line with his own, he hopes to accomplish his goal of rebuilding Shibuya. The conductor's zeal is unparalleled among Reapers. His strong presence was central to the composer's ability to govern Shibuya, an area considered exceptionally chaotic even among the higher planes denizens.
Mm-hmm.
Which shows that it ain't a place to mess around.
Basically. Yep. But yeah, no, what Jovo was saying, yeah. That being said, no, I really like how... Go ahead.
The composer would consent to base his plans for Shibuya's destruction on a game with a conductor shows his unwavering trust in his subordinate. Unification of minds is the natural state of the higher plane. Even timing might not happen throughout the underground. The current UG, however, is not ready. People have erected walls around their minds, dividing their collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Insert your own Metal Gear Rising joke here.
I really love this, the addition of this, that Joshua genuinely does not like when players don't succeed at this. He really wants people to see the truth of the self-enlightenment, like Hanekoma puts it. Go ahead.
They coexist independently, like the cells that make up a single human being. While the player pin holds imagination strong enough to pass through those walls, the pin's user own barriers are strengthened.
Yeah.
Were that not the case, the incoming flood of other minds could erode at the user's own consciousness. Consequently, those who hold player pins cannot be scanned.
So there you go. That's
Given
why
the
you can't
implications
scan players.
that a player has not won a game in a while, I wonder if that was also contributing to Joshua's frustrations that led him to think, okay, Shibuya's a lost cause, let's wipe it clean.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one was winning, possibly due to the mindset instilled by what Joshua deemed as inefficient.
Why does individuality exist? This is something the conductor has overlooked. Everything that exists has a purpose. Obsessed with the egoistic projection of Shibuya, the conductor is blind himself to the facts. With his blind ego funneled into everyone in Shibuya, the city's destruction is not far off. So long as there is individuality, it is impossible to fully eliminate loneliness. There is no such thing as a shared reality.
Okay, to be fair to Megumi, dude's back was literally to a wall. Like, he didn't want to do this plan. It was more so, as far as he knew, the only way to save Shibuya from Joshua's wrath, because Josh was just feeling bored that day. It wasn't the best plan, but you do kind of have to feel a bit sorry for Megumi in that this was legit just a plan to, hey, by the letter of the law, change how people of Shibuya were, so that would win him the game.
Basically, go on.
Even people
Spirit of the law kind of person.
Even people who believe that they share a connection are not truly connected. They must actually come in contact, clash, and learn about others throughout their foreignness.
Yep.
Differences should not be denied, they should be accepted and enjoyed. People must realize this is Shibuya is to be spared from destruction.
Yep.
Well, if anything going on Twitter is anything to go by, I guess we're doomed.
Well, I guess there are some good seeds even on Twitter, so...
This is why a lot of us left, or like use it less.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Hey, Josh, don't destroy Shibuya, but destroy Twitter. You will do the world a great service.
And everybody celebrates Joshua as the
No. You need to get to the source. You need to go to Musk himself.
Twitter was already bad before Musk, in my opinion. Go on.
It got worse.
That is.
I have
both of those
detected an energy
statements are
spike here. It will seem somehow Minamoto has returned. I judge his revival unlikely after spotting his taboo refinery sigil on the first day, but it appears Minamoto's imagination is much stronger than I anticipated. The fallen angel must have completed the array for him. A troubling thought. Who can say what impact this will have on the composer and the conductor's game? Minamoto has one goal now, to find the composer and erase him.
So Minamoto literally had the power of God and anime on his side when he came back.
Well, yeah, makes sense. Alright.
I guess that was his move after all. Minamoto has been tracking the composer's movements. He must know that the composer frequents this cafe. Chances are he'll pay a visit himself. As for the composer, I've yet to receive any word from him. Could the composer's abilities now be so limited that he cannot even reach me? I may need to contact myself in the parallel worlds to help search for him.
Again,
And
keep
that's
that final
Hanekoma
one.
was missing too.
Keep-
This is how it went there. Have you seen the composer, Lee? No.
Yeah, but keep that final line. Again, keep that in mind because we're actually going to see this in firsthand later in the next part after this.
It's like that verse in Epic Battles of History during Doctor Who 1. Let's just say that there's an infinite number of me simultaneously kicking your ass in time.
Yeah.
But in every universe, he still cares for us.
Indeed, but no, like I really like how this paints a whole different picture of Joshua that we haven't seen.
It's a different picture for both Josh and Hanekoma.
Let me expand on the concept of parallel worlds. In life, reality is made up of a continuous string of choices and the consequences of those choices. Every time a choice is made, the option not selected branches off and exists in its own reality, a parallel world. Countless numbers of such parallel worlds exist within a single plane, be it the RG or the UG, and travel among them is possible throughout the use of imagination.
So basically, if you have a particularly super strong imagination, you can travel between parallel worlds, meaning Joshua and Hanekoma, who have tremendous amounts of imagination, and so. As in.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Yes, parallel worlds. For instance, this one where you picked up a quarter, you become rich.
Theoretically, anyone can jump to a parallel world, but penetrating the membrane between worlds requires up-tuning one's vibe. This limits the pool of beings able to make the trip, like the Flash. Additionally, stress caused by breaking through the barrier can pull down the traveler's base vibe. If the vibe dips, the frequency may be too low to pass through the barrier. In the worst cases, it may render the traveler unable to return to his or her own original world.
So yeah,
it literally is like the Speed Force.
Yep. So basically, if you want to try this, by all means, but make sure you're definitely good enough. Otherwise, you might get stuck in the.
You need to vibe properly.
Ask your parents first, kids.
Yes. All right, go on.
Or you vibe too much.
Conversely, angels are being meant to jump between worlds. Thus, such travel is a simple matter. Angels have a higher base vibe than the frequency of the underground, allowing them to leave the UG when tuned their vibe to that of the desired parallel world.
So yeah,
as you know.
So for Hanekoma, it's incredibly easy since he's an angel.
It's super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
In simple terms, they're super powerful compared to normal Reapers and other
It also puts into perspective that angels might actually be on par with God.
All right, one more. Go ahead, Joe. This is important. Go ahead.
I have located the composer. He's in a world where Timpin Slammer, of all things, reigns supreme. I'm out to retrieve him. Yamamoto has definitely targeted this shop, and not with friendly intentions. This is essential, but I leave here immediately. I will leave the keeping to the Shibuya River for the proxy. You should know what to do from there.
So there you go. That's where Hanekoma was all this time. He was looking for Joshua in the
why he stashed
in an alternate parallel world where Tinpin Slammer reigns supreme, and that's where we'll be visiting in the Another Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, believe it or not, Another Day is technically canon to the entire thing.
Yeah, so it's a parallel. So that's how the game explains why the characters act differently. It's literally parallel world versions of themselves. Go ahead.
Shibuya's fate has been placed in the proxy's hands. It is no longer safe for me in the UG. My work here is done, and I did something. All that remains is to retrieve the composer from the parallel world and bring him back to this one.
And that's why Joshua showed up at the moment he did.
Hey, Megumi, I kinda don't have a way back. Could you come pick me up? Okay, thanks.
Why would I do that?
Take the bus.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So that's where Hanekoma was. He went into a parallel world to find Joshua, and that's where we will be. And we're not going to read past Secret Report 20, because the Secret Report 21 is the report we get for completing Another Day. So we're going to, in the next part, we're going to go into Another Day and complete that. And we'll see exactly how things turn out where now that we have Hanekoma traveling to a different world. So tune in next time, everybody. That's gone.
Sorry, never mind. I thought you were actually about to look at that one. Go on.
So that's basically it, everybody. In the next part, we will be starting the Another Day of Tuewi. We'll be after we finish that and we read its convening reports. Then we will start the A New Day, which is the new chapter that was added to this final remix version. So yeah, everybody, tune in next time where we meet a parallel version of all of our characters. See you then.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.